Good afternoon and welcome to This Girl is on Fire. I'm Kathy Connor. For those of you that do not know me, I am the founder and CEO of Go Getter Girls Network. I wear a couple of hats, so I'm also a paralegal investigator with the law firm of Lytle Writer Smith, Ivy and Fronrath. So This Girl on Fire is exclusive to Go Getter Girls Network members that are taking the business world by storm. And today I am honored to introduce Laura Burgess with Meet the Future. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself. She has some fantastic information that she is going to share. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Laura. Help me welcome Laura to the show. Welcome, Laura.
Hi, Kathy. How are you?
I am good. Thank you. Also, before we get started, for those of you that are tuning in, if you have any questions, just put a question in the chat. If you have any comments, put a comment in the chat. We want to hear from you. Where are you viewing us from? And we'll make sure we get those questions answered. So, Laura, let's just dive in. Tell us a little bit about you and how you got started and a little bit about Meet the Future.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Meet the Future actually has been around for about 3 years now. And it started actually like a lot of businesses following COVID, which I'll share momentarily how that became the brainchild. My history in my career is in coaching and consulting in executive search. So I've had 25 plus years experience, basically leading, guiding, coaching, training, everything from sales to executive to leaders, right? And so I've been on this journey of really helping people and businesses grow and accomplish their goals and manage their time, all the things that very successful go-getter type people struggle with. And one day in March of 2020, I received an email that my compensation was being cut by 30% because of the unpredictability of COVID. And my stomach just dropped. And I realized I've reached this point in my life where my fate was in somebody else's hands. And I decided that that was not going to happen again. And I quickly decided to look at all of the aspects of what I love to do in my quote unquote day job, if you will, where right now I'm the vice president of a string of executive search and talent solutions organizations, which are located here in St. Lucie West. And I was very straightforward with my boss. And I let him know, hey, this is something that I'm going to be doing on the side. It's not going to conflict at all. And in fact, we could probably also add that service to our organization. And so, you know, it was a little scary to approach him with that after I'd already gone through all of my certifications and my master certification and all the things that are required to responsibly coach others in their life. And again, it's the ironic thing is I've been doing it for over 2 decades. It's just a matter of actually being certified and feeling more qualified for it, if you will. It was an interesting and humbling experience, which I really enjoyed. But that at the end of the day is really what drove me, is realizing I'm also doing it anyway. My friends, my colleagues, people I meet on the airplane through my travels, I'm coaching, right? And so why not get paid for it? And I think that is probably what was one of the biggest struggles for me, was actually charging for it. I know that sounds crazy, but you know, when you're passionate about something and you really love it, you kind of feel guilty taking money for it, right? And so I had to go through this journey with my own mastermind group and feeling okay about charging. And what I've learned through that journey is that people don't value that which they don't invest in. So when you're giving out free coaching, it's, you know, what is their motivation to really follow through, to where if they have skin in the game and it's something that they paid for, then it's something they're going to take a little more seriously and commit to. And it's amazing to actually watch that happen and see, you know, the different tiers and the different packages that people select, and how deeper they go when they invest more. So that was definitely a light bulb moment for me.
You're absolutely right. When there's a monetary element in it, I think people are more inclined to put a little more effort into it versus it being free. So you're absolutely correct in that. So tell us a little about, there's all kinds of coaches and they all specialize in different areas. Which area do you specialize in?
So I tag myself as a success coach. And what that means is basically bringing a goal across the finish line, right? Regardless of what that goal is, if whether the goal is weight loss or career gains, or traveling the world for that matter, something that someone's been talking about for weeks, months, years, in some cases, decades, and bringing it to fruition within the space of weeks or months. And the joy that I get from watching what once seemed insurmountable and out of touch actually come to fruition is so gratifying. I can't even explain it. And it's a system. It's a 5-step strategy to accomplishing that goal. The system doesn't change regardless of what the goal is. And it's just a matter of getting real specific and identifying obstacles and committing, right? So having the awareness of why it's been put on hold so long, the breakthroughs that come through that alone, it really does kind of go hand in hand a little bit with life coaching as well, because it's all of your different elements of your life that are impacting this one area that's on hold. And it just seems that it's mostly women that are benefiting and in need of my coaching services, because women tend to put their goals on hold and prioritize everybody else's.
That is true. That's absolutely true. Can you give us an example of some of your coaching sessions where you've seen the results out of a client? I mean, no names, of course, but.
Well, I'll share a most recent one that
Okay.
gets me super jazzed. This individual who, and this is what I love, is in this role, I get to pick who I work with or who I don't work with, right? And I really only like to work with people who want to achieve their goals. There are people out there that want to fight for their limitations and not work toward achieving their goals. And this particular individual is on fire all the time, right attitude. And she was embarking on a fundraiser and had very limited time to accomplish a goal that she had set some months back. And we were now closing in on just weeks of being able to accomplish this. And within a 1-hour session together, she not only hit her goal, she hit it ahead of schedule and doubled it. So that was, for me, that's what I always say is, pick a goal. We're going to put together an action plan. You're going to take action, achieve your goal, and then we celebrate. And for me, that's the fun part, is getting to that point of celebration and really just being that cheerleader and accountability partner along the way.
Right. I love that. I love when there's a goal met, and that's not always easy to do. So having your coaching services, I'm sure, helped her realize the importance of the goal. And then the accountability piece is very important as well.
And part of it too is, setting and achieving goals is a very logical process, but a lot of times we're emotionally tied to our goal, and the emotions get in the way. And I will frequently say that whatever it is that you do, you also need, right? So a masseuse needs to be massaged. A coach needs to be coached, right? It's so interesting to watch how, when I'm emotionally involved in some of my goals, I actually need somebody to hold up the mirror and say, have you done X, Y, and Z? And you have to really get vulnerable to be able to acknowledge that some of these obstacles and some of your delays are self-sabotaging, really, and to be able to face that and overcome it.
Right. You have to, in my opinion, you need to be willing to dive into the deep end, because sometimes you need to put yourself in an uncomfortable spot to reach that goal, and that's okay. That to
Absolutely.
me is the almost a deterrent in in someone's ability to achieve that goal, is that uncomfortable space that they get into and to get through that. So what is your recommendation on that? Just give us a little tip. No coaching sessions, but
No. Well, my biggest tip really is stop letting fear get in the way.
Yeah.
Right. And fear, you've heard many acronyms for fear, but for me, it stands for false evidence appearing real. Right. We will sometimes let that 10% of fear stop us from that 90% of celebration that's waiting for us just on the other side of fear. So you know what? Feel the fear and do it anyway. Invite it in for a cup of coffee. Tell it to sit down and shut up. Get uncomfortable and move forward.
Right. Absolutely.
I know you said no coaching, but I can't help it.
No. I mean, no, I love that. I love that. And you're right. Don't be afraid to dive into the deep end, because that's where things happen,
Yes.
is in the deep end. So you mentioned something, Laura, that I think is very important, and maybe we can touch on that a little bit for the viewers, is, we as women, we put everyone before ourselves. And naturally we do that with our children, our job, our husbands, our girlfriend, whatever, whoever's in our life that we absolutely love. We tend to do that. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think part of it is the fact that we want to be the best at whatever it is that we do, right? And I'm generalizing here. So anyone that feels, well, that's not me, that's generalizing, that's, most of the women I come across tend to put their priorities on hold. And I can only speak from my story. And my story is a perfect example of, when I played sports when I was younger, I wanted to be the best player on the team. When I started my career, I wanted to be, the best at what I did. When I got married, I wanted to be the best wife. When I had kids, I wanted to be the best mother. Well, guess what? The moment you're the best mother, you're now no longer the best wife, right? And so whatever it is that I would do, I wanted to be the best at. And if I put myself first in that and accomplish what I wanted to accomplish, I would feel like I was letting other people down. And, it's like, oh, that can wait. Oh, I know I'm in control of that. Oh, once the kids get older, or once, this passes. And just recently, I was a speaker at a summit, and, a lot of times people open the session with all of their credibility statements. And I open the session with, the struggles I've had as well, with having disobedient children and a brutally ugly divorce, and life goes on. Right. And so why shouldn't your moving forward also go on? And instead of giving everyone the depleted leftover let's think back to when you're flying and they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first. You listen to them. And the reason why is because you're not going to get very far in helping others if you can't breathe. And sometimes that's all it takes, is just sitting back and breathing. And breathing is something that gets women through labor, darn it. That's how powerful it is, right? So that's, it's really just taking care of yourself and realizing that when you feel accomplished and you don't feel depleted and you don't feel behind or overwhelmed, you're going to give the best of you to those around you. So if you hit their pause button while you move forward, it will benefit them in the end.
That's actually really good advice. And you're right about that. You have to take care of you to be able to take care of others. And sometimes that's even difficult, because that ties back into, we want to take care of everyone else. I mean, my personality is a giver, so I'm always worried about everybody else, and I have to stop. And like you said,
and we enjoy doing it, right? We enjoy being the nurturer. We want to come into the rescue, right? But think about if you jumped into rescue a kid every time, they went to fall, they'd never be able to walk. And so every now and then, if you let people take care of themselves, you'll provide that room for you to grow.
100%. That's great advice. Let's go into our topic that we talked about. I'm excited to hear a little bit more about the topic that you have.
Yeah. So what are you waiting for, basically? Yes. And why are you delaying? And once you've identified all of those and you realize that sometimes they're just excuses, right? And they keep you in your cushion, that's what's really going to get in the way. So, I mean, I've talked and thought about, being a professional coach for a very long time. And it really took something to shake me up, to make me do it. And in the space of less than 6 months, I was qualified. And within a year, I was master certified. And, I wish I would have done it years ago. And so what is it that you're putting on hold, and what are you waiting for? That once you answer that question, then you're going to get closer to what your why is. And instead of what are you waiting for, why do you want to do it in the first place? And then commit to that why, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you can achieve your goals.
I think the why is when you sit down, in my opinion, when you sit down and you realize your why, now that we're talking about that, it makes it easier to move on to the ultimate goal. When you realize, why are you doing this? What is the end result? Yes. And that's, I think all of us need to think about the why, like you said.
Yes. I had a conversation with my sister. She wanted to quit smoking, right? And she quit smoking before, so she knew she could do it. And here she was, committed to smoking, but still daily declaring that she wanted to quit. So I just went through the series of whys, right? It's not always the first why. Sometimes you have to get to the third. And, I said, well, why do you even want to quit? I mean, don't you enjoy it? Just keep smoking. Oh, no, I want to quit for my health. Well, so what if you get sick? Well, I don't want to get sick because then I'll die young. Well, what does that matter? People die every day. Well, I don't want to leave my 2 daughters. Oh, they'll be fine. They'll be sad. They'll cry at the funeral. They'll get over it, right? No, that's devastating. Why is it devastating? And then we got to a point where I just said, you know what? Every time you go to light up a cigarette, just say, I want to die a slow, painful death and leave my kids without a mother, and then light up. And that's where the why is, right? The why isn't I want to quit smoking. The why is what is the impact of you quitting smoking? Same as, going to the gym. If people's goal is to get fit, forget about go to the gym. I can't stand going to the gym. I'll never like going to the gym, just won't. So I had to reframe it. So instead of saying I want to go to the gym, or I have to go to the gym, which is what it usually meant. And I'd find delays all along. Oh, look, the car's on empty. I better get gas before I go to the gym, right? And then show up to class half an hour late. I reframed it to, I want to get my body back. That was my why. My why wasn't to get fit. My why wasn't to go to the gym. My why wasn't to be healthy. It was to feel comfortable in my clothes again, right? So instead of saying, bye, honey, I'm going to the gym, I changed it to, bye, honey, I'm going to get my body back. And so that's where the why comes in, that then catapults you forward instead of you just sitting there waiting for the perfect time for you to meet your goals.
I love that. Honey, I'm going to get my body back. Yeah. I love that. I'm going to try that with Tim. So, let me ask you a question. So, it's to have that mindset and change that and rewire your thinking. What are your recommendations for someone that maybe has some difficulty or is new at, or I shouldn't say new, it's a challenge for them to rewire that thinking, because that's what it's all about, is rewiring the way you think, like you just said.
Mm-hmm. Declare it publicly, declare it. Find a support system, I don't care if it's a girlfriend. I don't care, if it's somebody else that's at the gym. I don't care if it's the guy in the cubicle next to you that you're both like, you know what, we're going to make that trip this year and be on the President's Club. It's finding, accountability is key. So is recognition and accountability. So in order to even feel like you're self-recognizing yourself for your little wins, first of all, stop beating yourself up, right? And only celebrate the wins. Have little rewards and little milestones along the way. And it takes a plan. It's not just an idea, right? Can you imagine if you said, okay, I want to go to Disney World. Let me just get in the car and see where I end up. So a lot of times we'll have a goal, but we just don't, we haven't put it in the GPS, and we don't know what would be considered success along the trip, along the journey, right? It's when GPS tells you, oh, you're going to get there in X number of hours and minutes. I'm not going to tell you how fast I drive right now. But that's not the exact time you usually arrive, because along the way are distractions. So instead of saying, oh, this road's closed, let's turn around and go home. Forget that. I tried, right? It's know ahead of time. How am I going to adjust, and how will I feel? And it is a journey. And literally you have to invite in those obstacles so that you'll know how you're going to handle them along the way.
That's actually really good advice. What are your, like, if someone wants to, let's go back to, I'm going to get my body back. Let's use that as an example. So do you recommend, I've seen where women and men, they'll put bathing suits on refrigerators and pictures on refrigerators, or doing different things with cigarettes to stop smoking.
Yes. Visualization is so very important and key. And speaking it into existence, right? Yeah. So for example, somebody who has health challenges, who's sick and or perhaps chronically ill, is, I am healthy. I celebrate my health. Speaking of it in the present, right? And recognizing there is such a thing of law of attraction. Whether you believe in it or not, it exists, much like the law of gravity, right? Whether you believe in it or not, it's there. And where your focus goes, energy flows, to quote the great Tony Robbins. It's really recognizing that your mind is so incredibly powerful. And, sometimes finding that ability to believe in yourself, some people say, oh, I hope. Hope isn't really a strategy, right? But hope is better than doubt. So if you've moved from doubt to hope, that's positive, right? Now, if you can move from hope to believing, that's even more positive. And the more you practice it, the more it's going to be a light switch versus you actually having a flashlight and trying to find the belief in there, right? And so you'll start to find that things serendipitously just come your way when you focus on that instead. I think it was the great Henry Ford who probably didn't believe in any sort of magic that said, whether you think you're right or whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right.
I love that. That's awesome. It's, I just, in my own story, it's, we all have our own stories where we were at some point in time, we had that doubt and we had that self-doubt. And like you said, in my world, it was, constant telling myself, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And when you have a good support system, it makes it all even easier, whether it be a networking group like Go Get a Girls Network, or your husband or your friends. When you have a support group, a positive support group that helps you, like you said, an accountability, it kind of ties all in. Yeah. Then that helps you through it, and it helps you to maintain that positive mindset.
I would like to share just one thing that's very important too, in addition to having a good support system, is embrace the haters, right? Those who speak against you, leverage their energy to drive you to prove to them that they can also believe in themselves, right? It's like, don't look at it like, oh, I want to show them. Look at it like, once I do this, they'll see what's possible. And I'm going to use my son as an example. When he played Little League and he was a pitcher, and it was this high pressure game where he had to go back the next day for just one pitch because it got too late and the lights got killed. And so he went back, and the next kid up to bat was the one that hit the grand slam the day before. This whole team came in from either Puerto Rico or the Dominican Republic. I can't remember which, but the guy up to bat, his name was Chavez, and the whole crowd on the other side was Chavez, Chavez, Chavez. And my son goes to pitch, right? And it was like one pitch. It either was strikeout or he was walking this guy and walking in runs, and they lost the game, right? It went straight across. Chavez swung, missed, strikeout. My son's team wins. We're on the ride home. And I said, that was high pressure. How did you manage that? And out of the mouth of babes, he said, I just pretended my name was Chavez.
Oh my gosh. I love it. How old? How old was he?
He was probably 11 or 12.
Oh my gosh.
Newly into double digits.
I love it. That is awesome.
Yes.
What an
sometimes
amazing
we
story.
just learn from kids, right? And we forget how powerful we are because we've had years of letdowns and we've had years of people doubting us. And it's time to take your power back.
That's right. I love it. So Laura, we have about 4 minutes left. Tell us about Meet the Future and the services that you offer, how someone gets signed up with you. I'm going to put your contact information up here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm always open for a conversation to have a 15-minute free consultation for anybody who wants to learn a little bit more about success coaching. Generally, what I've found is that people tend to gravitate toward purchasing a 4-pack of 45-minute sessions. That is for an ABCD toward your goal achieving. And what that stands for, the A is awareness. The B is breakthrough. The C is commitments, right? And making commitments with yourself. And then the D is discipline, the discipline to see it through. And we all know it takes 21 days to make or break a habit. And so that actually takes you through 28 days if you're doing weekly sessions so that you have that ability to implement the discipline on that back end and really, really change your trajectory. I mean, it's just really those small changes. James Clear talks about just 1% change, in getting better and what a difference that can make in your life. So sometimes people just want a coaching before going in for a negotiation. Other times, I have somebody right now that just bought 13 weeks of weekly sessions because, that consistency is what she needs to make sure that she knocks it out of the park. We're on session 3, and just to see what she's accomplished already, I'm like, wow, what are you going to do with the last so many sessions? Because you're there, girl. Right. And so it depends on the situation. And I will only steer you toward your own success. And if I don't think I can help you, that's where I'm unique, is I will let you know that I'm not able to help you, that I don't feel that we're a good match. And I'll even recommend other coaches out there if they make more sense.
I love that. So Araceli, yes, I think Laura is amazing. Laura, I don't know if you could see that comment, but
I see. Yes.
Araceli, I'm glad you're watching. That's awesome. I love positive comments. So we actually have a couple minutes left. So Laura, I am going to put you backstage. I'm going to just wrap up the show real quick, but stay put and I will be right with you.
You bet. Thanks.
All right. Awesome. All right. How amazing. I love our amazing go-getter girls. I love hearing about their expertise and their journeys to success. And that's what This Girl is on Fire is all about. We spotlight all of our Go-Getter Girl Network members. They all are unique. They offer something unique in their business, in their personal lives, and they're all successful. And we want to hear their journeys because their journeys and their their journey to success and what they've gone through and their business, how they run their business can be an inspiration for other women and other men. So that's why we do This Girl's on Fire. So look forward to other amazing Go Getter Girl Network members that will be sharing their stories of success. If you're interested in joining Go Getter Girls Network, I am going to put the information up and check out our website. I hope to see all of you at a meeting. You can attend 2 meetings for free. We are a women's networking company. Go to gogettergirlsnetwork.com to learn more about us, to register for a meeting, or to join our organization. I'm also going to put up Laura's information. So take a screenshot and you can reach Laura at 772-812-6572 or email her at laura@meetthefuture.com. And with that, thank you all for joining us and keep those fires burning. Have a great weekend.